This video will be about setting up your 2D drawings in SOLIDWORKS. First thing you'd want to do is open up a new file, and we'll go to the drawing format here. Pulls up a drawing. Now it's asking you for the paper size, and note that is listed over here on the side. And you can see the different sizes. This depends on what you're drawing. I'm going to go with a D size right now, and it's in landscape. So there's the D size paper. Now, several things we can do here. The first thing we'd probably want to do is go ahead and put in some views. We have to go and find the drawing we want to work from. And earlier I did the base. This time I'll do the movable jaw. Now it's asking me what view I want. Basically, there's a default view that should be coming up. Let's see. Yeah, I'll also note the scale factor there. We'll be able to adjust that. But there's a view, and now that's my design view, and then we'll just project some views off of that. Not really too worried about my locations right now. It looks like I need to put a view over this way, and that'll take care of the holes. And then I'm probably going to need to put a view down here to show those other holes. And I'll accept that. Now in this isometric view, I'm going to move that over here out of the way, and I'll also click on that and make it shaded. I like that shaded. It calls a tapped hole out here. I'm going to take that out. That's all I need there, and I'm going to take these out as well. Those aren't exactly how we would call that out, so we'll do that. And then you might want to also save that file, a movable jaw, and I'm just going to put movable jaw, and I'll just leave it at that. And then pick your folder you want it to be in. Okay, when I do that, that changes the drawing name down here. Now I can go to sheet format and edit that. And I believe that'll let me double click that, so I can maybe make that smaller. It's showing that it's a 1/4 inch text height, and I'm losing that size, but I know that's 1/4 inch, and I'm going to make that actually I'm going to go in there and delete all that, and I'm going to make it 5/32, I believe, is what it calls for in a standard drawing format, and then that'll show up a little better. And that's in the drawing number. Now if I wanted to change the name, that would be something else, or change that into the title. Also in there, if I go back, you can define the title block, but that's not going to actually give me what I want here. I want to insert that text, and there's no real good way to do that using this. It looks like it would be right there, but that's in the drawn by, but I don't want to. See, it says select notes that will become editable text boxes in the title block. Use the arrows to change their tab order. So I really don't want to change anything there, but I think, let's see, is it on the sheet? I don't need to edit anything on that sheet yet. That's where I need to get back to. But that's what I want. I want to edit the sheet format, and I go in there and double click that, and I'm not going to put my initials and name in there. And then I can go back here and just edit the sheet, and that'll get me back into the drawing itself. Okay, so now the next thing I probably ought to do, I've got some views here and they're created, and I could do different things with that. You could, if you click on that view, you can change the style that you've got. So you could see hidden lines there if you wanted to, or you can take the hidden lines removed. So you might do that. You know, you can just look at the different ones. When you do the base view, they all reflect that. So it's like a global change. Now the other thing I would probably do is I would go up here to the top and do a tools, options, and I'm going to make some changes here. In the drafting standards, I want the ANSI standard, so I'll use that. And let's see, is there anything else over here? I really don't need anything from there, so that's fine. Annotations, the font, if you want, you can change that around a little bit. This is going to be inches, so again, 5/30 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, is what we want on that. You could change the style if you want to. I'm just more worried about the size. You can change arrowheads if you wish to. I personally like closed unfilled, not that particular one. They don't really have the one I like, but we'll just go with the closed filled. Leader length, we'd probably want to change that to 1/8 of an inch. Then we'll go dimensions. In dimensions, we'll go in there and we'll change all that good stuff too. 5/30 seconds. Nothing else there. Then over, let's see, if we don't need dual dimensions, we'll leave the primary units at primary precision set at 2. And let's see, fractional display, we don't really need to worry too much about that at this point. Bent leaders, let's keep that at leader length that's 1/8 of an inch. Leading zeros, let's remove them. Trailing zeros, we'll let it do its thing. Show units and dimensions, and we don't need to show the units. That would show us whether we had inch or millimeters. It should be understood that up to 120 inches is inches. So we'll leave that. The dimension extension line, 1/8 of an inch beyond, and the gap, let's make that 90 thousandths. Break dimensions, and we'll leave that at 1/16 of an inch. Let's see what else here on our arrowheads. That actually should be not 60 thousandths on the width and 0.18 on the length. And let's see. I think that's all for that. And you can expand that out. And what we need to check on this, notice this angle says ISO. We really want that to say ANSI. That's the American National Standards Institute. Text, we can leave that. We'll change that as we need to. Nothing special there. Angular, again, we'll go to ANSI. We'll go to arc length, ANSI. We'll do all those with, oops, sorry, missed it. We'll do them all as ANSI. Don't know why that doesn't come up with that ANSI. Doesn't make a bit of sense. But we have to go back to the diameter radius on that. On all of these, the font is fine. That's all good. That's good. let's go in here. Now we want the text position to be read from the horizontal, broken leader horizontal. Okay, so we're all good there. That's on the radial. On the linear, everything's pretty much the same there. Text horizontal. And let's see, we do want to use bent leaders. We want that text to be we want it to be inside there, but we want it to be horizontal. We don't want the text to be aligned, so we'll have to watch. We'll leave it set like that for now. Let's see. Yeah, definitely want to leave that. We'll have to change that. I think that aligned is wrong. So we'll go ahead and put some in, check it out, and then dimension this. Yeah, we want that to be, see, we want that to be horizontal like that with the broken leader. Okay. And that's especially true on the linear. We want that to be horizontal, but we don't want that line. So we want that to be like so for now. Use bent leader. Okay, and I think that's about it for that. Okay, so now then that's basically the setup that we'd want to use on this. And I'll stop here and we'll show you the dimensioning here on the next video.